And I'm not going to redo our welcome. Um, Continuing. It is our sincere belief that the consumption of sacred medicines is a communion, which brings us closer to what is commonly called God. We understand the concept of God as pure consciousness, which permeates all beings. This pure consciousness is, we believe, the ineffable source of creation and the origin of health and well-being. Our vision, let's see, sorry, a little slow this morning. Our vision and mission is to provide a sacred and safe space for the connection of the community in support of mental, physical, and spiritual ascension to the divine in all creation. We believe that all life needs comfort and connectivity to achieve restoration. By having a sacred and safe place, people can fashion their own spiritual journey. Nakama Center is a safe and private setting that provides guidance and integration for those seeking spiritual restoration, both on site as well as here in our virtual space. We are bringing people together for healing and connection to divine revelation through community, communion, and sacred medicines. We ask you to please make sure that your mics are muted, and our service will be about 30 minutes, and we'll be recording this first half and posting it on YouTube. After that, we will have our community discussion forum, which will not be recorded, and then we'll post the link to the video online so you can look at that. We invite you now to find a comfortable place. You can sit back, kind of relax, settle in, be present as we begin our service. Let me move this down just a hair. There we go. All right. Just as the colors of the rainbow unite to make one light, God far above and God deep within, the divine Shekinah, unite in community. Transcendence unites the eminence. One and one become one. We join together in community, together reflecting the divine's splendor. We are the colors of the rainbow, uniting to make one light. The glorious holy throne is here where we meet, ready for the divine to rest upon us. This sacred place lifts us, uplifts us, here where electrons dance and the interplay of being and nothingness draws our hearts together. Binary code flickering through space, making us present to each other and to the radiance of this day. We crown this day from below. She enfolds us in a new supernal souls, so that our service be blissful and praiseful, joyful and radiant, as with shining faces we approach our prayer. We'll take a few moments to meditate and reflect on what we've read. I suggest taking some deep cleansing breaths, thinking about how we intermingle even among ourselves within this sacred space. Removing from our minds all of the situations, worries, and thoughts. Being present with what you feel, what you hear, and what you know. Allowing those external thoughts to float past like clouds. While we're still in this mindfulness centered state, I invite us all to place our hands on our heart as we take a few moments to send loving intention to our ancestors and the divine for healing through community, sacrament, spiritual awakening, and to all who cultivate or consume the sacred plants. Without the Creator, communion of our members, and these sacred gifts, this community would not exist. The healing done by the Creator through community and sacraments is not limited to the times when we commune and consume, but extends into all aspects of our lives and spreads like the mycelium around our world. It is through intention and attention that we call forth the healing power of the divine, of the sacrament, and of the community that we have formed around our common understanding. Let us use our ever expanding awareness to bring greater peace and healing to our world, and let us radiate gratitude from our hearts to our Creator, to our community, and to those who cultivate our healing plants. For these gifts impart healing to those who commune with love and sincerity. We become aware of the oneness of life, the knowing that we live in all things and that all things live in us. Let us apply this understanding to all of our relationships and aid us in our journey as members of the human family. So we use many sacred texts and many readings. We don't believe that any one sacred text or reading holds all truth. So today we have our first reading. Richard, did you have a minute to do the first reading or not? He may be busy. He's caring for my mother, who is in need of care at the moment. All right. I'll go ahead and do the first reading. This is by Rainier Marie Rilke. She says, "Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves." Friedrich Nietzsche says, "I believe it is one of the greatest crises, a moment of the deepest self-reflection of humanity. Whether man recovers from it, whether he becomes master of this crisis, is a question of strength." And finally, again from Rilke, "The only journey is the one within." I want to consider existential crisis today, and we'll have an opportunity now to journal, and we'll have a journal prompt, and it will allow us to take some time to reflect on these things that we have read in this first session, in this first reading, and how it pertains to existential or spiritual crises. And I'm going to give us about 3 minutes to spend time with that. We have a few more seconds. Go ahead and finish up what you're writing. We will have opportunity to discuss this after the recorded part of our session, of our service. All right. Our second reading are the sacred texts that all talk about different aspects of existential crisis or spiritual growth. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, just as in this body, the embodied soul passes through childhood, youth, and old age, so also it passes into another body at death. The wise are not deluded by this. And this verse is addressing the concept of an eternal soul, and the transient nature of this physical existence. And it offers comfort in the face of life's challenges and changes and the fear of death. In Christianity, Ecclesiastes says, meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless, everything is meaningless. This reflects the struggle of finding meaning in this world filled with vanity, uncertainty, and existential crises that we go through. In Buddhism, they look at it a little bit different, but about the same way. All conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this wisdom, one turns away from suffering. So it's directly tackling the root of existential distress. Impermanence and suffering are those roots. By understanding the nature of change, one can find freedom from existential angst or feeling that difficulty. In the Quran, it says, so verily with the hardship there is relief. Verily with the hardship there is relief. This is hope. This offers hope during existential struggles, emphasizing that challenges are accompanied by eventual ease and resolution. The Tao Te Ching states that the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth, or the source, as we sometimes call it. This reflects the existential uncertainty about understanding the nature of reality, suggesting that ultimate truth transcends our own comprehension. In the Psalms, it says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Again, offering solace for those that are experiencing existential despair and reminding them that spiritual support and comfort are available in times of deep suffering. So what feelings and thoughts did this bring up for you, and any ideas that you thought about? We're going to go ahead and journal another 3 minutes, and I'll call you back when those 3 minutes are done. Please wrap up your thoughts as we move into the next portion of our service. Give me a few more seconds. Announcements. We are still working on gathering um, pallets so that we can make the floor to our 10 by 30 tent. And we'll need more pallets to make the floor for this foundation and floor for our 16-foot, it's not a yurt, it's a bell tent for people to have, we can sleep for in that. And the 10 by 30 tent that we own now can be used for gatherings. We still have a building that needs to be moved, but right now it's still full of stuff. So we're working on getting rid of stuff. We can always use help out on the farm. We're hoping this fall, if you know anyone interested or has knowledge, we're hoping this fall, once things die out, we can do a walk through the woods and mark out our paths so that we can get started on those before the spring when things start to grow again. Our pond is still, we're still needing some dirt work done, and we have one tractor working, the other one is still not. So if you know how to do electrical work, we could use some help with the tractor. But anyway, we're still meeting each week. There will be some weeks in October, I believe, that we will not be able to meet, or unless I can find someone willing to host the meeting. And but anyway, that's what's happening. Those are the announcements. We still are working on our membership, online membership accessibility thing so that people can help finance us through their memberships. But of course, it's free to come to the meetings. Just, any help that we can get is helpful. So whether you can come out and help or whether you want to help financially, we would appreciate all help. And let's see, let's go ahead to our closing. Our divine, we come before you broken and in need of healing. You are our true guide and creator. Act benevolently toward us for the sake of your holy nature. Renew our mind. Provide for us a good week. Remove from us all harsh decrees. Annul the intentions of our enemies. Foil the plans of our foes. Wipe out every oppressor and adversary from against us. Close the mouths of our accusers. Remove pestilence, sword, famine, captivity, and destruction from us. Withhold any plague that pursues us. Pardon and forgive all our injustices. Blot out and remove our indiscretions from before your eyes. Erase all the records of our indebtedness. I can't speak. Bring us to you in wholeheartedness and sincerity. Send a complete healing to the sick. Shred the evil decreed against us, and remember us with favor. We've come together with intentions of service to the land and all of its inhabitants. It is in our hearts to go forth into the world with collective consciousness. We encourage you to stay for our continued fellowship and conversation around our readings today. And for those unable to stay, we thank you for being with us and wish you a great week ahead. As we further our conversation, please remember that all perspectives are welcome as we search for the spiritual truth that unites us all. Please remember that we are not a medical or therapeutic organization, and statements made by the moderator or members of Nakama are their own. We are here discovering and exploring along with you. Please join us again next week. For those of you staying, I will stop the recording.